Hey guys, Nicole here from the Little Craft House. Join me today as I show you how I make these ocean themed earrings out of polymer clay and alcohol inks. Okay, so to start with, we're going to prep the area. We're going to pop down some baking paper first. Working with alcohol inks is quite messy, so I'm just going to put the baking paper down. I'm also going to use a little piece of baking paper with my clay on it. That's just going to give me the ability to move this one around as I need to. I'm just going to pop that aside for the moment. Right, so I'm going to prep my alcohol ink to start with. My cups are a little dirty, but that's okay because I'm using the same colours. So to start with, we're going to use some blending solution. This one is from the Couture Creations range. Just a few little squirts of that into each of those cups, and the gold just needs a little bit, not much. Okay, and then with our inks, we're going to make sure we give them a really good shake just to stir up all the colour and pigment that's within them. As you can see with the gold is quite heavy, so it just settles to the bottom. So it's really important to give that one a really, really good shake. And I'm also going to be using some of the Couture Creations. This one's ice blue. It's a really dirty bottle because I use it all the time. These two are the Pinata brand. Alrighty, so then with these, the colour is quite intense, I would say. So we don't need a lot of, the 2 drips. I might need to add a little bit more blending solution to that afterwards actually. The slab that we're creating today isn't very big, so I'm not needing to mix much up at all. I'll do 3 of the gold. Just want that to be a bit stronger. Okay, I'll just move those to the side. Okay, so with my clay, I'm just using a piece of scrap clay today. I'm pretty sure it's just Primo. I've rolled it out flat, about 3mm thickness, because that's the thickness that I like to do my earrings at. And I've made sure that it's nice and smooth with no lumps or bumps, although that's just some colour that's mixed in there, but that's okay. It's going to be covered up. All right, so to start with, we're just going to pop some of the blending solution on the top of the clay, just a little bit, and I'm just going to use my finger to rub that around. Kind of creates a bit of a, I'll say waterbed. Well, that's not water, but kind of creates a bit of a waterbed for the inks to move around in. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need a bit more in that. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of a swizzle around, and then just drip that onto the clay. And because I've put that other blending solution down, that's meaning that that can now move. If I didn't put the blending solution down, it would kind of just sit and not move like that. I'll do some on this side. Kind of how that is there, because there's obviously no solution just there. So I'm just going to let that sit for a moment. I might just add a bit more. Having it on a piece of paper here just means that I can move it around a little bit. Otherwise, if you wanted to, you can also use something like a little blower to maneuver the ink around, help it blend in and mix together. I'll just zoom this in and just show you. I'm going to add another drop of I'm just going to let that sit for just a moment. It's just going to start to absorb, and then I'm going to add my gold. With the gold, I'm actually going to use a cotton, just a little cotton Q-tip. And with the gold, I'm not going to pour this one on, I'm just going to flick it on, and that's just going to give a nice little speckled effect around the piece. Another great reason for popping the baking paper down, because yeah, it does create quite a bit of mess. And of course another tip is to wear gloves, but I like to get quite messy. And then once you're happy with how it's looking, again, just going to let it sit and dry before cutting it and making our shapes. One thing to remember is that as it does sit, it will start to, or it will continue to move, and it may not end up looking exactly how it is at the moment once the alcohol has absorbed and the colour's left on the clay. So we'll just leave it there for a moment, and I will come back as it's dry. Okay, so I've had it sitting for about 10 minutes now. It's mostly dry. There's still a little bit you can just see around the edge there that's wet. So I just need to leave it a little bit longer. But then once it is completely dry, I can just cut it like normal, like I normally would, using my cutters. Then bake the pieces exactly the same as you would normally bake, as per your clay manufacturer's instructions. Yeah, so I'm not going to do that now because it's still kind of wet, but what I do have is some pieces that I created earlier in exactly the same way, and I just thought I would show you these. So the alcohol ink has actually stained the clay, which means that it won't just wipe off, it is pretty stuck on there. But what we do want to do is seal it anyway, just to give it, well, I really like it sealed because it'll give it an extra glossy finish. I've got some others here which I did before as well, and these ones have been resin coated. Now I absolutely love these because it gives it such an amazing shiny finish. So I'm loving that look. But if you don't want to get your resin out, I thought I would just coat these ones today in the Sculpey Gloss Glaze just to show you guys how to do it. So the first step is to make sure that you've given your glaze a really good shake, just for a couple of moments. And then I'm going to get an old business card and a tiny bit of blue tack, and I'm just going to blue tack these on. It just makes moving them around as I'm glossing a little bit easier. Now, as I was saying before, the main purpose with the gloss glaze is to give it a little bit of a shine, but also just to protect it. So what I like to do with the glaze is I prefer to apply more rather than less. This just means that you're not fiddling around with the glaze. It's not going to become streaky. So just using a soft brush, just a few really quick brushes over the top. One. Now it looks a little bit blobby at the moment, but it's okay, it will dry fine. As I say, don't fiddle with it too much because you don't want to then create streaks. So this is just going to give it a little slight shine. If you did want the super glossy, go for varnish, but this is just going to be a little shine just to protect it and give it a little bit more of that ocean look. So that'll just take a few moments to dry and then they'll be ready. Okay, so there we go. My pieces are now nice and dry and shiny. They're ready to be made into earrings. So thanks a lot for joining me today. Hopefully you guys will give alcohol inks on Polymer Clay a go. Certainly is lots of fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also tag me in anything that you make, either over on social media on Instagram or on Facebook. All right, thanks a lot guys, and I shall see you next time. Bye.